going. I'm gonna do a comic geek out because I feel like it. So this isn't quite in print, but it's not like a rare find. I just looked on eBay. It looks like you can get this for like 15 bucks, regardless of the condition. Let's go into the Wayback Machine to 1984. And if you want to know about more 1984, go look up that David Bowie album. I think there's a Diamond Dogs. He's got 1984. Yeah, that's great. So this, I'm pretty sure this is 84. Anyway, so I thought I'd geek out on this because I'm pretty sure this is the original I had, and I think a page has come loose. Yeah, it has. So that's where I'm at in my world. This page has come out. So, but it's never. I think Marvel and DC did trades of all their collections, but you're not likely to find them now. I'll go look, and it'd be nice to have all those in one place. Because these originally began in like '77 or something. They did a Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, Hulk. That might have been it at the time, and then later in this era, this might have been it. And this was supposed to be followed up with Justice League Avengers in the '80s with George Perez, but that got pushed down. That can got kicked down the road for another 10 years or so, and that was finally done up in like 1998, 2000. So here's the thing: at the time, these two teams, these were the best-selling comics of the bunch. Uncanny X-Men and Teen Titans, and well deserved too. Good, solid team books. Big fan of them both. It's tough to come down on which one. I think at the time I was really into Teen Titans more, but the older I get, those X-Men stories stick with me. Obviously it's Chris Claremont doing the X-Men books with various artists. Known more with the team up with John Byrne when we deal with the Dark Phoenix stuff. I get it, but he that book kept going with a lot of other artists. The Silvestri run is my favorite Claremont X-Men run, right after Fall of the Mutants and before Inferno. I think I might have said that before. Okay, so this is 84. So it's really Wolfman and Perez were making this book go, but Marvel did this book, hence the Marvel first. And this looks like Walt Simonson stuff. I don't want to take my kitty pronunciations, which I often do a disservice to folks. I'm sure I'm saying the name. Yeah, it's Simonson, right? So this is a Marvel lineup of creators. So Claremont's writing it. Simonson got Terry Austin inks. Shooter's the editor-in-chief. So Marvel's doing this up here. So all that DC could do was say, okay, we've given you the rights to do these characters. So although they were team-up books, at the time, it was never a collaborative effort between the companies. I'm sure Marv got a phone call and said, here's what we're doing. What do you think about this? And that was it. And I'm sure you can find more information about this. But this is a geek out. So this is just the sheer joy of a comic that's not in great condition, in a story that I don't remember much of, that I haven't read at all for a few years, because I just found it in the shelf behind me and said, hey, I think I just want to talk about it. Why don't I just talk about it today? But so what my little springboards do is get me to look at it and go, hey, maybe I should really sit down and read it, and maybe you could too. So let's just geek out a little bit with the whole feel and aesthetics of it. This is totally Walt Simonson stuff. So it's a Dark Phoenix and Darkseid team up, and there's Darkseid looking like Darkseid. Now sorry, look, I don't even know where I'm at today. It's time for a nap. But Simonson would later go on with Louise to do a lot of New God stuff in the '90s. So here we go. This is like early Darkseid for Simonson here. So the pages are yellow. We got Deathstroke the Terminator. The older I get, the more I'm like, this wasn't a great character at all. Is that anti-hero stuff? Not a good guy. Certainly not a good enough guy to have its own series and try to redeem. Not a lot redeemable in it. If you don't believe me, go read the other history of the DC universe, and it spends a couple pages with what do we do with Deathstroke, because, well, I'll just leave it at that. The so-called relationship between Deathstroke and Terra, that wasn't quite thought through, and it was alluded to. She's like 16 years old. Okay, that was more than I want to talk about that. But anyway, so what's going on in this book? Well, I don't know. I kind of remember it's called Apocalypse Now, and we got the big Marvel ad right in front because, you know, now there's a DC. Marvel Comics is power, and then we have this kind of lame DC ad back. DC is on the move. And look at these books no one read. Camelot 3000. I know a lot of people like that. I think I read it a long time ago. That was Michael Barr, right? My wife read it and was not impressed at all. When I'm like, hey, Camelot 3000, what do you think? Yeah. Okay, so I always pronounce this like, I know is it just Arion? It's not Orion. I like this book. This was a fun book. I got the whole run pretty cheap. And even like the you know, a 4-issue series that came out 10 years after, because you got to keep these characters in circulation. But this was not bad. The Lord of Atlantis books. Now, what happened in them, I don't know. I like Atari Force too, but that's just my age. Now, the Supergirl book, I had the whole run of these, and I don't think I finished it. And, you know, you got to bring out Blackhawk every 10 years or you lose the rights to the character. That's why you have, like, characters you've never heard of suddenly have a mini-series. Like, you know, for Marvel, it's the Space Knights. And what do you do with the Space Knights if you don't have any ROM? And I really need to do a ROM video because I love ROM. But there you go. Well, you know, it's a lame ad, but, you know, compared to the Marvel ad, at least I got to touch base on, you know, 4 different books here, and Marvel didn't give me that. Marvel gave me a little Kitty Pryde down here, and one of these messages. Do you a solid today. So there we go. We're in the danger room. Danger's happening, doing stuff. So, you know, you need the danger room because that's like such an essential. We need to introduce the X-Men. How do we do it? Well, let's put them in the danger room, and then we can touch on based on who everybody is. And I like this because danger room is a great exposition setting because then you get to introduce their powers really quickly, just to get it all out of the way. So, you know, what we're learning about when we look at this crossover book. Because to have a crossover book, you're trying to appeal to a new audience. So this is really an exercise in how to introduce new characters again and again. And nothing says that like the Danger Room. So, you know, one page. One page, and we've got abilities, kind of abilities, all out of the way. And then, of course, over here, we've got Scott using his eyes to play pool. And Aurora's just... using the storm to water the plants, so we're really knocking all these folks out. And then, something happens. So this is Metron. So we're bringing in the new guys right away, and you know we got Professor X in the big Metron chair. I'm probably not pronouncing Metron right. Remember the childhood. You ever get into an argument? This is what happened. Well, not an argument. We all get in arguments, but remember, like back in the 90s, I was going to this comic shop that only lasted like 6 months at best because they were giving like 30% discounts on stuff. But and I'm like in my maybe 20, 21 years old, and the dude working there, not owning it, you know, was just really into the stuff. And I said the term Darkseid, and he's like, no, man, that's Darkseid. And that dude was wrong. And that dude I let him borrow my videotape of all the X-Men animated stuff, and I went back to get it, and he's like, oh, man, sorry, dude. And the only lesson at the end of the day is don't do recreational drugs all the time, man. That's my takeaway from that. All right, so in the continuity here, Jean's been dead this is 1984, so Jean died in the 1980s. She's not coming back, and of course we know when she did come back, Phoenix and Jean, all this time, Jean Grey is just in a cocoon at the bottom of the Hudson River, waiting for John Byrne and the Fantastic Four to bring her back up. But anyway, so this Dark Phoenix stuff, is this Darkseid? I don't know. So help me, Scott. And we get this, and Scott's always is going nuts with his eyes for some reason. And then we move up. Hey, this is a beat. Welcome to my world. I'm sorry, this is how my head works. The East Coast, we've got the X Mansion in Westchester, and we've got the Titans Tower close by. It's a wonder they hadn't come in contact with each other at all. So this takes place on some Earth that we never see again. So I'm sure this was labeled in some pre-crisis continuity. I like these. I like these books where you don't have them on separate Earths suddenly coming together. Ooh, hey now. Suddenly coming together in some extra dimensional help us all. I kind of like it when they're on the same world. And hopefully this is... Oh. Yeah, hopefully this is the same world. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if I read this, I might know more. But come along, won't you? This is pretty awesome here. You got the Phoenix versus the Raven. Very nice. I mean, we're touching on all the parallels between the teams, and it is awesome. So everybody's got nightmares. Everybody's doing some stuff. Yeah, this is so good. I'm just finally gonna do it. I'm on like volume 3 of the Wolfman Perez Omnis of New Teen Titans. I'm finally gonna start finishing it up. So this happened right after. Okay, so this is X-Men continuity here, but Cyborg's coming in because something got trashed. Now I don't know what that was. They came out in the 80s with an index that breaks down this book. I remember reading it as a kid. Anyway, so there's Robin looking. That's quite an expression there, Robin. So we got Deathstroke, whatever. Ooh, the trouble alert. Okay, it's happening here. We're back at the mansion doing things. These are Jean's parents. We haven't heard from Jean. We don't know what's going on. So, I'm reading this without even looking at the dialogue. And to me, my X-Men, and something's going on here, and there's somebody's been in my head. Well, I don't know what's going on. Do you know what's going on? And we got what is up with the Robin expressions in this book? This just looks like Grumpy Cat Robin. How is this not just like Grumpy Cat? Oh my God. I think we need a whole other episode about Grumpy Cat Robin. What was Simonson thinking? Because there's also Grumpy Cat Robin. That's just hilarious. Because tell me that's not Grumpy Cat. All right. Anyway, now we do Links in Space because we get to talk about where Starfire's from, which I can never pronounce correctly because I did not grow up with the cartoons. It's like a Tamaran. How'd I do? I got to stop and sound out the word, But then we get to link that in with the Shi'ar stuff, and so Corey would know about Phoenix destroying the whole planet that we did in the Dark Phoenix saga. That still gets me. That one panel where we see the whole destruction of a planet. That's something else. So this is, I guess, Deathstroke's an apocalypse. Nothing says apocalypse like that. Darkseid wants something. I don't know what. Okay, Corey's going to the X Mansion, and she's gonna have it out with Professor X here, because Corey always had the temper, right? And then boom. Oh, boom means boom tube. What would I? Boom tube. And okay, so the shock troopers. What are these, like parademons? Parademons attack. We got Wally West as Kid Flash here. There's Donna Troy. There's Garth, who's Changeling in the day, not Beast Boy. Looks like, okay, we need this weapon to secure something. Maybe this is what makes the death pits. The two anti-heroes go at it. Hey, Bub, what's going on? I cast out to the snow, and blah, blah, blah. And we have The thing about Deathstroke was always like he uses 90% of his brain. Is like, yeah, okay, whatever. Okay, this is the end. You know, this is odd. I'm guessing this was meant to be the centerfold, but it got cut off once because it's just a page away. So they were like off a page. Maybe some editor was in there going, no, we got to do this. So this is like the original source wall, man. So we're going to take the Metron stuff to the source wall. Yeah, I think it's all about trying to get Metron back. Like, Darkseid does something with him, and he needs the essence of the X-Men and their mutant. No, they're both in there. Okay, the Titans are down here. Oh, I'm sorry, no one's even seen it. I got to look at the screen. So I don't know, this kind of like power generator thing. The mutants are up here, and the Titans are down here. It's like this looks like someone's toy collection, And so anyway, and I remember the little beat between Gar and Kitty here. And there's also previously, I missed it, there was a beat because, it's Garfield Logan, and hey, your name's Logan too, and blah, blah, blah. So all those little beats. This is very reminiscent of, and it was before Crisis, but, Perez was doing something similar in a lot of panels in Crisis on Infinite Earths, where and you need to do that in team books because you have so many characters to work with. You got to try to give them all their own personality. Okay, I remember this is what summons the Dark Phoenix, because these folks knew her. It's coming back to me now. I don't know when I last read this, but these are the folks that knew Jean Grey, and we got Professor X in the Metron chair here, and the Titans are just there to be there, I guess. And so that summons Dark Phoenix, and we got this big splash panel. Who summons Dark Phoenix? And I'm like, I, Darkseid, summon you, Dark Phoenix. And then they do all this. And of course, we can't have an any X book without Scott Summers yelling no. Which is my greatest takeaway from the 90s animated series. No, Gene, no. And I would be louder, but I'm done talking for the day. This is going to be my last video. So, they're in like a holy alliance. And all Darkseid wants to do is destroy. It's probably never liked Darkseid much. I mean, the character was just too dark. Not my thing. Even with, I'll talk about this some other time. Even with the Great Darkness Saga with the Legion, that has the same feel. Almost, it's worse. It's worse than the panel of Dark Phoenix destroying. But, when all the Daxamites come under control of Darkseid and they destroy their own planet, and it still didn't sit well with me. Maybe I'm just a old naive fuddy-dud. I don't know. All right, so now we're doing the handshake thing. This reminds me of the 67 the 66 Batman animation where Robin's just running with Batman at the beginning of the show. I'm guessing Simonson just didn't like Robin. I mean, look at this. Everybody else looks normal, but Robin, I don't know. We're doing stuff. There's a Metron chair. Oh, that's great. There he is. It's happening. This is probably more of the book than you wanted, but you can enjoy. Someone's thinking. Thinking this looks rushed now because we want to just get to the end of things. So what are we gonna do when we find Jean? Where are we going? Doesn't matter. By this time, all the geeks. It's not to say this wouldn't be a bad story, but we're just kind of throwing things around now. Shoot, fire, shoot, find a pit. And I'm sorry I can't get the, and ooh, look at, do we have any more where like the just radiating off Sykes' little eyepiece here? I don't know. And whatever we were doing. I'm thinking this ends where a little part of whatever was Jean Grey decides that this isn't the best idea, and Darkseid's just too much of a downer. Okay, another beat with Kitty and Gar here. Not bad. It's a lot of fun. That's exactly what comics should be. A nice little fun geek out. Let's go do this. I think I'll read this later on. And although I've kind of spoiled it all for myself and others, and Wally's and then there we go, and this is a lot of text here. And when you have half the panel taken up with a thought balloon and some text, I don't quite know what's going on. But I think I'm losing sync with my computer. It's had a day. I gotta download all these videos I made today, and And then we have, yeah, something goes into Scott, and boom, boom, and we're back at the source wall, and the Phoenix energy hits the wall, and we're done, right? And Metron gets his chair back, and he's all happy, and ready to take on the day. And I don't know what Darkseid's doing there. Maybe in this world, Darkseid just becomes part of the source wall, which is nice because that means we never have to deal with Darkseid again, which I'm all in favor of because, you know, he's been overdone. And there we go. I got my Darkseid action figure from 1985 over here somewhere. Okay, I've totally went over time today. I look forward to how I may edit this or make it into like 3 different short episodes. I don't know. But there is your X-Men Titans crossover. Do. Watch him run. Watch him run back. Watch him run forward. All right, I'm done. If you watched all of this, you can be my friend. Thank you. But, you know.